Hello, my gorgeous Gemini, and welcome to your love bonus reading for the month. This is just a general reading, so please do take what resonates and toss the rest. Also, if you haven't had a chance to check out your abundance reading, that is up on the channel as well. So that is more like your career, your financials, those kinds of things. But this one is more about your love and relationships. So whatever you're interested in, maybe you're interested in both, check them both out. But let's go ahead and get started, shall we? This top row is indicative of kind of where you are now. Do remember time is fluid in tarot. So, you may be in the throes of this. You may kind of just be getting started here. The second row is what you don't see coming or what is on the horizon for the next month or so. Again, fluid. And the bottom row is Spirit's advice to you, or the universe, celestial beings, ancestors, higher divination, communion of saints, whatever it is you believe in. For the purpose of this, I will just call it Spirit to encompass all, okay? But if you do enjoy this reading, please do like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, because I do plan to put up next week's weekly readings. I'm hoping to put up moon readings, and you don't want to miss any of that good stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So I see a Lover's card here, okay? So for some of you, I do feel like you may be in a relationship. This could be a new relationship. This could be something where you've been in a long-term committed relationship, okay? For others of you, I do feel like this is something where if you haven't been in a relationship, or you're recently out of a relationship, or maybe you've been out of a relationship forever and ever and you've been waiting forever and ever. But I do feel like, something's coming in here for you, okay? If it hasn't already, or maybe you've just, excuse me, I have some hair in my mouth. Oh, yikes. Okay. You have somebody coming in that's of interest to you, and definitely it's a love vibe, okay? This is not just a friend. This is something that certainly is working its way into being a very much love relationship. So if you know kind of who I'm talking about, you're like, hey, I kind of just ran into somebody the other day and it was like a spark, or as my kids say from watching the Hotel Transylvania, as the zing or something, you know what I'm talking about. So if there's somebody you've kind of recently met, or they've kind of approached you and they've kind of given you that zing feeling, this is what I'm talking about, okay? So I'm seeing this coming for you. Otherwise, for those of you in relationships or just starting in relationships, I feel like you are on the right path. I feel like this is a good connection for you, because I feel like it's going to be getting stronger. We do have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, okay? And I do feel like that is you have that ace energy. I feel like this is you. I do feel like all this is really kind of vibing to me. The feeling that I get with this is that, you've been doing fine financially. Work has been kind of your steady, your rock. For some of you, I feel like you've kind of leaned on work to take your mind off the fact that either you've been in a bad relationship or you've had no relationship or whatever. So you've kind of distracted yourself with your work. So maybe you've poured so much into, your work lately. And again, time is fluid. So for some of you, lately could be just since a breakup recently, or it could be, for the last year or 2 years since you've had your last real major relationship. Your work has kind of been your saving grace, or your go-to, or your safety net, something is consistent. But I feel like kind of that's what you've done. That's kind of been your home away from home for you. And so with this, you still have that superpower Ace of Pentacles energy, but I'm feeling like you're kind of putting it away, okay? So that you have a chance to focus a little bit more on this love, okay? Because I'm telling you, I feel like for many of you, you are ready for this and you're feeling this. It's the real deal kind of situation. So for many of you, you're feeling like, this is something that I haven't felt for a while, or I've never felt ever before, this kind of connection. And, I don't feel like I need to bury myself in work to distract myself from either loneliness or a bad relationship, or a relationship that's like, I'd rather be at work than be at home kind of thing. So your next card is the Sun. So again, I feel like this is perfectly sitting well with you. You are loving the fact that you don't have to, use work as an escape plan. It's still there. You're still thriving at it. You're still doing well at it. In whatever regard that you want to, but it's not your whole life now. You have other things. So you're more of a complete package, you feel like now. You're more of a whole. You feel like the sun is really out and shining on everything, right? You're not just this, I'm great at work, but the rest of my life is in shadows, right? Like I don't have this relationship part of my life. I don't have it, or it's not glistening and shiny. It's there, maybe, I might be dating a little bit, you're kind of that feeling about that, or, I've been in relationships, but they've been kind of just like, I'd rather be working today than really spending time with them because they nag more than my boss, things like that. You kind of get the gist. So I feel like, right now you are starting to see this play out. So again, time is fluid. It depends on where you are. Maybe you just met this person. Maybe you're involved with this person and it's starting to just kind of develop into that where you're really starting to come into, the flow with this, and it's really getting better, stronger, more important for you. But let's see where we're going throughout the month and into possibly next month, maybe even throughout the summer. The moon here, okay? So the moon is under the Lover's card, and the moon can be an uncertainty, okay? It can be kind of like a clouded situation for you, a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of concern. And I think for many of you, that's the case. Again, you have to realize where you're kind of coming from too. So you're coming from a place where the only solid maybe you've had, the only consistent thing you knew is, I go to work every day. I know that no matter what happens at home, no matter what I do here, I can go to work. I know how to do my work. I know how to get that done. I know how to punch in and punch out. I know how to put a good day's work in. That's something that is consistent. I could do that with blinders on. I can go through that on autopilot. Relationships don't work that way, right? So they're a lot more difficult. There are a lot more, uncertainties to relationships, right? So I feel like, when this comes in and it's an uncertain feeling to you, right? Especially for those of you who maybe never felt that way before. You've never had that like click or that zing or that, wow, this is actually working out great, or wow, that person really is understanding me in a way that somebody else never has, or whatever it may be. You kind of have this almost skepticism, this almost uncertainty, right? So I feel like you're kind of going to unfortunately be that way for a bit, okay? And they're going to have to be patient with you, okay? Because I do feel like that, and you may need to convey that to them, all right? You're gonna have to let them know, for a while, if you came out of a really bad relationship, let them know that, communicate that with them, okay? If it's something where, I've just never been through a relationship that was decent like this, I've always been just a work, that's my safe space, and now I want to spend time with you, but I don't want everything to, fall to pieces, and, I don't really know how to have a great relationship. Whatever it may be, communication is going to be your key here, okay? We don't want this ambiguity where we have two dogs barking at each other, lobsters crawling, darkness shrouded. Darkness is like lack of communication here, okay? Again, you don't want that either. So again, that's where the uncertainty will come in, because I do feel like, anytime you start to pull back a little bit, and I do see that you might do that because you're like scared. Honestly, I feel like some of you will be like, is this too good to be true? Am I smothering them? Should I just go back to work and leave them alone? What do I do? Because this, again, is something that maybe you've never been in this position before. And that can make a lot of problems if you're not communicating correctly, okay? So again, that's gonna be imperative. That's something, if they don't understand why you might be pulling back or withdrawing, they're just going to be like, okay, well, this person obviously isn't interested, because you have to understand they may not have the history you do. They may have come out of some more healthy relationships and things than maybe you did, or they've had different past experiences, okay? So the next card I see is the 5 of Cups. And again, I do feel like that is something where, again, you are kind of really lamenting over some past relationships and struggling with how to kind of, do you turn and go back to your old patterns, which is, it's falling right under your Ace of Pentacles card. Do you turn your back on this person and go back to your old patterns of just what go back to work, this is too risky. I don't want to get hurt. I'm scared that it'll fall apart like my last one did, or this is too good to be true, and I know what happens when things are too good to be true, or, those kinds of things. And that's where things will go really, really bad if you don't openly communicate, okay? You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in your person to understand what the situation is. If you tell them, they have to know, though, to be able to handle it. Because they do, everything in this vibe is telling me that this person is good for you, okay? But they can't process if you don't let them know. They don't know how to react if you don't let them know what they're reacting to. If they just see you turning on them, putting your back to them, going back to your old ways, they're gonna feel you're not interested, and that's that, you know? So then you're like, why are they pulling away from me? Okay, they didn't want me, you know, and it's a miscommunication, right? But that miscommunication leads to you losing them, and it's a major problem, okay? So I see this 7 of Cups here, and that's a lot of options, okay? And that's under your Sun card. So again, I do think if you communicate well, if you kind of overcome this situation, you can have a lot of options. But this is where, again, your options, whatever option you choose, is really going to be pivotal, you know? And these cups are important because the options are there. You know, you can choose to have the world, or you can choose to, you know, turn away. You can choose to not talk to this person about things and have miscommunications, destroy the whole relationship. You're ultimately in charge here of what happens, because I do feel like this person is completely invested in you. I truly am. That vibe is here 100%. But the way you choose to handle it, the choices that you make, are what is going to decide whether this sunshine continues or whether you flummox the whole situation up over really kind of just a miscommunication, to be honest. I feel like that's what it would be. It would be you kind of turning away thinking, okay, this could go bad and I'm scared, so I'll do this. And then not knowing that that's why you feel that way. So they think you're turning them away. They leave. Then you're like, see, I knew it was going to go bad. I was right. I protected myself, when none of that ever really had to happen, right? Right? Could have all been avoided with open communication. You know, so the choices that you make here are going to decide whether there's sunshine or not, okay? And there could be other choices too. Again, you know what I mean? There could be other choices that come into play, you know, other options, other opportunities. There could be other people who are trying to become involved with you. Exes might come in, other opportunities might come in. And again, your choices are going to define this relationship. I really, truly feel like this. So, you know, in this whole situation, everything is going to require open, good communication and really good choices on your part, okay? So if somebody is coming around that, you know, an ex, somebody who's, you know, not good for you, and they're offering, hey, I'd like to spend time with you too. You know, if you want this to work, that's a no-go, right? Straight off, okay? If, you know, you want this to work, open communication, okay? All these choices, okay? Again, but let's see what Spirit has to say. Okay, that's just my 2 cents, but I'm just reading here. So let's see what for the intents and purposes of this, we'll call it Spirit, whoever your guiding force is. Page of Pentacles. Okay, so I see some opportunities coming in. I see some offers coming in. And this Page of Pentacles is falling under your Lovers and your Moon card. Okay, so again, you know, if you are a person who does kind of return to this work situation, or you feel like I'm going to go back to my safety zone, you know, this Page of Pentacles may be something that is an opportunity to go back to more work, a different job. This could be somebody at work that is like, you know, not nearly the love that you had, maybe not the zing, but it's somebody that is like, okay, that's a little bit less serious. They're interested in the work. I can kind of just hang out with them there. It's more of a cash thing. And, you know, there's not as much pressure on me. So, you know, this could be somebody that, you know, really comes in. But I feel like this is Spirit telling you, you know, that just because these opportunities come in, again, these are the opportunities that may come in to tempt you, okay? What also they could be saying, Spirit could also be saying, is, you know, incorporate. This could be your lover, and you could incorporate them into your work world. This is a Page of Pentacles, right? Bring them into your work life, okay? Explain to them how they can, you know, be part of that, or why you run to that. You know, again, this is kind of like communicate with them. Take them out of the darkness. Keep them as a lover. And that could be what this is about. This is about you communicating, you know, what the situation is, why you ran to your work right away, or whatever you did that happened there. Okay, Spirit's telling you, again, open communication. So let's see what we have. The next card here is the Four of Cups in reverse. And again, this is saying, allow them to speak to you. Allow them, be open to listen to them. You know, they may be in a similar situation as you are, okay, where they have things that they've gone through. And if you don't listen to them and they don't listen to you, or you don't get all of that out there where you guys can have an understanding, then what are we going to have here? We're going to have people lamenting, thinking that, oh, this one's turning their back on me, that one's turning their back on you, you know, all this and that. And it doesn't have to be that way. Listen, open up open communication and open dialogue, okay? That's what you have to do, because if you don't, this is going to be, you know, a tragedy of comedies, mistakes, and errors, and all kinds of weird Shakespearean types of, you know, tragedy here, really, okay? So then your last card is the Devil card. And again, okay, I feel like myself that this is coming under your decisions card, okay? Because I do feel like there are going to be people or things, okay, again, like I mentioned earlier, that will try to come into your life as options, as choices, as decisions. Could be a work, it could be your ex, it could be another person that wants to be with you, it could be any number of things. But these people or things are going to try to tie you to them. If you look, there's two people tied together. They're going to try to tie you to them, okay? And by you making a choice, if you make that choice, okay, that's going to suck the life out of you. Not just out of you, but out of any relationship chances you have, anything you have. It's going to be a very negative situation. And I do think that that is what, you know, Spirit is telling you, that you can have the sun. You absolutely can. You can have it, okay? But you are going to have to be open and honest about everything. You're going to have to make good choices, because if you don't, there is always going to be someone waiting around the corner to really do you bad, okay? This is not the person to do you bad. I do not feel like that is the same energy at all, okay? I feel like this person really wants to care for you, be with you. But bad decisions can certainly lead to vulnerabilities, okay? Because right here, if you take these in a row, look, your middle card is your lamenting card here, where I feel like, okay, you turn your back on them, you feel like they turn their back on you then because you did, and then there's this big misunderstanding, and then you're kind of in a devastated mode, right? You're like, I knew it was too good to be true. I knew this and that. What kind of situation does that lead to? It leads to a vulnerability, right? Where you feel like, I knew everything was too good to be true. You're feeling down, you're feeling low. And that's the kind of person or position or situation that devils love to take advantage of, okay? They love that. They see that, you know, okay, well, you know what? Because they didn't talk about it, because they didn't get it all out, because they didn't realize what was happening, they are in a very vulnerable state. That's time for the serpent to strike, right? Perfect time. I can really scoop that person up, weave them into my web of, you know, narcissistic abuse by telling them exactly what they want to hear, anything that I want them to hear, you know, and they'll buy it, because right now they just want to hear something, because they feel down, they feel bad, they feel like, you know, they failed or whatever it may be. And so it leaves a perfect open for something like this. Okay. So again, I think Spirit is telling you, open dialogue, good choices, absolute communication is 100% necessity here. Okay. So let's get your love clarifiers here. We'll get one for each row. See if Spirit is going to give us any more insight or advice here that might help you. Okay. But I think that the overwhelming, you know, kind of idea here is that you really do need to be open, honest, outright with all of your thoughts, feelings, emotions up front, you know, to have a very mature and open relationship. So both of you know kind of how to handle each other with kid gloves in the way that you may need to. Okay. So reconciliation. Okay. I feel like this situation here with the reconciliation, I feel like it's down here. Okay. So I feel like this Page of Pentacles is possibly that, where maybe you've gone through this moment where you've had a moment that maybe you did lament, But when you got to make your choices, you said, you know what, wait, I'm going to fight for this. Okay. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring this person. Okay. Again, this could be that lover person into my world. I'm going to explain to them why I did what I did. I ran to my work. I went back to the things I knew. I did what I did so that they can understand where I'm coming from and we can reconcile in a way that is open, honest communication. And that will help us to grow together. Okay. And they'll understand me more and I'll understand them more. And that way we can move forward better. Okay. And that's what Spirit's telling you to do. And I think that's exactly what you need to do. So the next card is wedding. Okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're getting married, of course, but it does indicate a growing together, a movement forward together in a more serious way. And I do see that. I see that when you are, open communicating, like it's saying here, when you are, reconciling, when you've decided to make good decisions and open yourself up to this love, then you are able to grow together in a mature way, because now you're able to learn how to handle each other, learn how to understand each other. And that's key, right? I mean, communication is key. And then the last one is give your relationship a chance, okay? And again, this is falling under your sun and your choices card, right? So it's telling you, give your relationship a chance, because if you do not, if you cut it off up here without any explanation, without any sort of, understanding, you just leave it at that horrible, misconstrued, misconceptions, misunderstandings, mistakes, errors, tragedies, all that kind of stuff, you're leaving yourself open for somebody like this to say, wow, perfect opportunity to hit up a vulnerable person who's just come through, them losing the zing, the person that they were really kind of feeling, and they're down and out. Boom. That is opportunity number one for the devil energy to strike. So, Spirit's telling you, no, make the good choice. Reconcile it, give your love a chance, talk it through. Your person may have similar things to this love person up here. They may have their own quirks or issues that they have to work through that, if they explain to you, it'll help you understand, oh, okay, I see why they, do certain things that they do. Okay, they now see why I turned and, ran to work every time things kind of got hard or whatever. And, then you guys understand each other. So it's more of a, okay, well, we can work around this. We'll, handle this, and everything will come together in a good way, rather than leaving you open, feeling down, feeling out for no real reason other than just, misunderstandings. So I think everything is going to be really, really great for you. I think this could be possibly the one for you, amazingly. Everything is there certainly to make that happen, as long as you guys have open dialogue, open communication, really kind of bare your souls to each other, and you're honest and you do not hide things, and you certainly make good choices about everything. Okay, so if this did resonate with you, please do like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, all that other great stuff. I would greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, I will see you back hopefully this weekend for next week's energy readings. Bye.